Grab a seat, order a drink, and welcome to the brightest center in the galaxy for all things Star Wars Expanded Universe, and whatever else may blow in the door. You're listening to the Callum's Cantina podcast, and I'm your host, Callum. No matter if you're a seasoned bounty hunter of lore, or just looking for a good story, you've stumbled into the right cantina. Today, we're returning to the topic we started this podcast on, now with the final part. The Essential Expanded Universe Collection, talking about those core tales, the legendary sagas that every EU fan needs to experience in order to understand the main events of each era. So pull up a chair and let's unravel the legends. So last time with our discussions, we were in the New Republic era and we had reached right near the end of that. We did include Darksaber I have on my list and the Union comic run.
Yeah.
But I
Which
do
is
believe...
definitely essential, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't have on my list a couple of the other things right near the end of the New Republic era, but that was probably because we were running out of time.
So, let me think here. So we got what my list currently has. I mean, if we want to, like, we're going to go over the New Republic, I guess, because just to clarify anything.
Yeah.
So, in order, what I've got is Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, the Stackpole, X-Wing books, Rogue Squadron, Wedge's Gamble, the Krytos Trap, and the Back to War.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Courtship of Princess Leia, the Thrawn Trilogy, Dark Empire, and Empire's End. So the entire Dark Empire trilogy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, if I'm gonna playing devil's advocate here, we probably don't really need Dark Empire 2. But if we're including Empire's End, we might as well do the entire trilogy.
And I guess if you're reading Dark Empire and then Empire's End, you miss the middle part of the story to go, what happened in between?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering how impactful that would be, though, now that we all mention it, because I've never really thought about extracting it out of its own trilogy.
Yeah. I just read them all
together. Right.
Yeah.
Like, the story kind of just flows from beginning to end. It doesn't really... There's not really a good break. You know, there's like minor stuff, but not a major interruption in there. So, yeah. Then we've got Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
Which is definitely essential.
Darksaber.
Yeah.
The Black Fleet Crisis trilogy.
Yeah.
And then the Corellian trilogy. That was one I was unsure of.
Black Fleet and Darksaber and Black Fleet were kind of where we were up to, other than we'd already mentioned the Union comic run.
Yeah.
I am wondering, though, about both Black Fleet Crisis and Corellian trilogy, though, at the moment, just if we are going to talk about essentials as in things that add to the overall story, because particularly with the Black Fleet Crisis, I feel like it was, you know, all of the characters start at a certain point, which is something I was thinking about Firefly earlier too. They start at a certain point, and then, you know, the whole Ibiza thing happens and Spar's being a twat, and it goes on this massive arc, and at the end of it, it's all resolved, but what it adds to the actual overall timeline, I'm not really sure. Like, it seems to be very much an insular story. It's not like you can say, oh, that's where, you know, Jason and Jaina were born or whatever. You know, it's not... I can't think of any big timeline events apart from the Black Fleet Crisis itself. Like, if you were to take it out, you wouldn't lose much in the long run, I don't think. I'm trying to think if there's anything huge.
I'm thinking of it in the perspective at the moment of that it gives an insight into how the Republic is at that point in time. Because especially with how Spar speaks to the Senate and how he tries to undermine all of that, gives an insight to the political structure at that point, which Then you get to the Corellian trilogy, and then it seems different again.
Which, that's that. Yeah, something. I'm just gonna wait until the dog stops.
Yeah.
Well, for the Black Fleet Crisis, I can't think of anything that's actually impactful from that storyline. I like it a lot, but I don't necessarily think that it's an essential story.
Okay. Hold on.
But now
There
the Corellian trilogy,
Unless you're
yes.
bringing in some stuff with the Falinasi that connects in later with Fate of the Jedi.
That was a wasted plot line.
It kind of does feel like it. Because it's really odd feeling because it seems like Luke learns these new powers and then okay, well I don't see them. For a
Yep,
while.
they no longer matter.
So yeah, I would say the Corellian trilogy for sure.
Yeah.
Simply because that is the real introduction to Thraken Sal Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And he is very important for the next decade.
Yeah, I remember him in the Legacy of the Force series.
Yeah,
I mean, it also
yeah,
sets
like-
up like the whole idea of like Corellian isolationism.
That too. I really need to read this trilogy.
Oh, it's very, very well done.
Yeah.
I haven't been reading as much as I should, so I'm still on Ambush at Corellia at the moment. I do think it's a good point to have some species shown that are so culturally different that it shows that diversity. I do really like that idea in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's possible. I'm also trying to remember just how big of an impact the twins in particular had, but I can't remember in the Corellian trilogy now. I'm recalling.
Yeah. They blew up a droid. Anakin's established to have his mechanical wizardry.
Yeah. Because that's what I was thinking, is that there's also a lot there that goes forward. Like, it establishes their characters very early on in their lives.
It does. I don't want to spoil it for Cal, though, since he hasn't read these, because they're like super
There's going to
instrumental
be a lot
as
of
the
this
story
that
goes
you probably
along.
should mention for people
Yeah.
listening.
But I was just trying to remember, that is a Corellian trilogy I'm thinking of, right? Where the kids are basically having their own entire subplot.
Yes, and they're like super important.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what series it was, and it is, Corellian.
They're definitely already getting and highlight as like separate characters in the book, so I'm like, yeah, they're gonna have a subplot.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, they're getting to that age now where they're, more important in doing things and trying to get established. Small babies don't tend to do an awful lot, but
except for escape being kidnapped
or getting kidnapped. I almost wouldn't mind to have one of those. Just a study into how many of these stories start with the Solo children are kidnapped. I mean, I don't know if it's really that many, but it's certainly more than one, which is statistically crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of like how like every episode of Clone Wars starts with like the same thing going on. There's war in the galaxy, something stupid's happening.
Yeah.
It's like they went, hang on, we all had the same idea. Let's do it slightly differently.
Oh dear. But no,
and maybe the children won't notice. The adults will. The children won't.
They're coming up far enough apart that we can get away with it.
Right. Okay.
No, I do remember the kids being
Yeah, so let's probably pull the Black Fleet Crisis. There's not much to it.
Really good story, but doesn't add much to the overall history of the galaxy.
The only thing I can see it adding is the knowledge that Luke and Leia are Darth Vader's children, and that's about it.
Yeah, it
Thrawn
does
trilogy.
clearly state that pretty much everyone knows that, but you get that
Hmm.
impression from other things too, I feel like.
Right. I mean, sometime after it
Look.
seems that sometime after the Dark Empire stuff, it seems to become more public knowledge.
I was even thinking, like, after
Maybe
the
the
Thrawn
Jedi
trilogy.
Academy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because it would actually. I feel like that would have been discovered after that.
Because,
Yeah.
I was thinking after the Thrawn trilogy, someone just walks up to a Nogra and they call her the Lady
Well-
Vader, and it's like, wait, hang on a minute.
Well, there's this other
New
thing about
Rebellion.
it though. Yeah, well, there's also there's also the Jedi Academy. I believe Luke tells his students in there that his father was Vader. If I'm remembering what little I know.
It does establish that he's been talking about that with his students, as far as I know. Sort of like, I feel
Right.
like from memory, that was more of the implication that he's been teaching that all along.
Right.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, it's
in the
one of
New
those.
Rebellion, there's a whole plot line of like them wanting to kick Leia out of the Senate because she's Vader's
Yeah.
child.
Hmm.
So I feel
And
like
then we have the whole
Well,
thing.
but we've already eliminated the New Rebellion.
well, I'm
from
just
our
saying though,
list
like
here.
Yeah,
like,
if we're
there's another
including it
story
for that.
that-
yeah.
yeah.
That's fair.
Then there's Luke leaving the academy to Streen, and Streen becoming a little bit more prominent with looking after the academy.
Which I can't see what that would be. I mean, see, it's another tough one because of like how far away do we go from the main storyline again? You know, like it's absolutely instrumental in showing Streen's development as a character, but then you could tell the entire story of Star Wars from beginning to end and not mention Streen once.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right.
because he's really not that important.
It's almost like we were talking, like we were talking
like-
last time about Boba Fett, and it was the same problem. As like, there's these stories out there. It's a lot of one-shot stories, short stories, that really highlight Boba Fett and who he is, what he's like as a character, which are exceptional. But again, we
Oh, yeah.
toss them all out of being out of being essential because it's like, well, it's not essential to the overall.
Yeah.
Right.
Same trick
Well,
here, really.
And I believe we determined that it needs to be either overall galaxy affecting or Skywalker connected. I believe that was our conclusion.
Generally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because
So
most of
that's
the
the
better
thing.
stories. Well, and it's also the thing that most of the better stories seem to take place when we move away from the Solos and the Skywalkers of the galaxy and focus on.
Oh, I
you know.
agree. I agree. A lot of the
Yeah.
best
So-
stories are actually centered on
Others, yeah. 'Cause they
side characters.
Yeah.
So we've removed the Black Fleet crisis, and we're going
Yeah.
from Darksaber to the Corellian trilogy.
Mhm.
I still have the Hand of Thrawn,
Yeah, I think that's quite important.
and I believe I advocated for that because it establishes Luke and Mara getting married, like being close
Yep.
enough that that he even proposes.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
right,
so
'cause then-
far,
you-
even as of the Corellian trilogy that I've read so far, they're not at that stage at all.
Oh, they're hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
No, even at the beginning of the Hand of Thrawn, they're still kind of.
yeah.
But then by the end of it, it's all good.
Yeah,
Yep.
all good.
So
They're
Yeah,
ready
it
to
would
get
be-
married. It
it would
was
be
the fast.
really
It is the most
jarring.
complex and fastest courtship in the history of the galaxy.
Mm. And Han has one of the longest.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. It balances out.
Because he goes from almost marrying her in Jedi Prince to years later courtship of Princess Leia.
Right. Right. Okay. So we've established that we want Union.
Yes.
Yep.
Survivor's Quest.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
I think
about,
that one was
'cause
one that we were on the fence about.
From now, other than Legacy of the Force, I haven't read any of them. Apart
So that'll
from
make life easier.
what I have on my list is the Legacy comics. I've read all the comics, but the novels and the junior novels I haven't read. But I put some on my list because I'm like, I sort of roughly know what happens in them, but I'll get there.
So-
eventually. Okay.
The other thing is, that just means we could toss all of this out because you haven't read them, but you've got a really good understanding of the Star Wars Expanded Universe, so obviously they're not essential.
I actually
I
don't,
see.
Ta-da!
see?
ta-da! But at the same time, I don't actually know some of the major events that occur in them.
Yeah.
But
I know
they
of
actually
a couple
matter.
of the major ones, but some of the other things are like, I know I know of Nominor, but I don't know what he does.
I feel like
He's a pain in the ass.
Survivor's Quest
That's
is
true.
really needed, though.
And I've only
Is it-
heard secondhand about the explanation of the Yuzan Vong. I haven't actually read the first-hand account of this is actually how the book describes it.
Oh, well.
Okay.
So,
So
that's
let's-
probably important
let's-
things there to probably
Shadows. Oh, that's a Shadows Quest? Survivor's Quest. Wow.
Survivor's Quest.
Survivor's
bring it
Quest,
back.
though, I think we'd have to put it in because if we said Outbound Flight, and
Right.
then obviously
Yeah.
the Thrawn trilogy are going to be essential, which they clearly are. At the very least, Outbound
Right.
Flight is essential because of the Thrawn trilogy. By that same logic,
Yeah.
so would this be, because this is almost the other end. This is like the end cap to some of
Right.
that being tied up.
It covers the entire Thrawn stuff, like the entire
Mm.
major Thrawn stuff, and all of the. It really holds that through line of connection.
Yeah.
And it's useful because you get the consistency.
Also, the blurb does seem to highlight that it explores Luke and Mara as a couple a lot more too.
Yeah, which you
Mhm.
know, you don't get a lot of that until the new Jedi Order and
Mm.
after Union, like most of the stuff.
And by that time, everything's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Right. So like this kind of puts the sweetness and the real relationship in focus.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that aspect. Okay. And then
Mhm.
there's
I
the Young
don't-
Jedi Knights.
But a Survivor's Quest, it's funny because the more you think about it, the more essential it kind of. I think I would probably just
Yeah.
overlook it. 9 times out of 10, when people are saying what are the best books of the EU or whatever, I probably overlook this to be perfectly honest. But yeah, you probably
That's
can't.
probably true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it does. It bookends all of those arcs. It shows Luke and Mara's relationship for what it ends up being, and
Yeah.
it's pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see no reason
Kinda
to not
does the
put it
whole
down as
thing.
essential. Well, even in terms of the Empire of the Hand, which comes into play later, it's probably one of the first times. Well, is it the first time really we see them being a big power, or
Yeah.
looks like it must be?
Yeah.
Because like they're only hinted at in the Hand of
Yeah.
Thrawn as being a big power. They're not shown to be. And then in Survivor's Quest, they actually show that they actually are.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You know, though I will say I'm very disappointed that the Fell kid that we need in that never really appears in any significant story again.
So we had
Uh,
Survivor's Quest as big yes, and then
Yeah.
what I put on was like Young and Junior Jedi Knights. I did put both of those
Right.
series in.
Are we doing both or just Young Jedi Knights? That's the question I have.
I've never read them, so I have no input on this.
fair enough.
Mm.
I mean, I guess even for those who haven't had input, I guess the thing is, though, is that, again, it's focusing on the development of the young Jedi Knights, like these kids that their development is still seen through things like the Corellian trilogy in the adult novel, so to speak, as well. So would you count them as essential? Good stories, yes. Do you get to know these kids really, really well? Oh, yeah. But necessary, again, is this issue that we have. Where did we sit, actually? I've totally forgotten already, with the young, like, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan reader novels.
Let me go back up and see.
Jedi Apprentice and everything. 'Cause
We
if
did include
Yeah,
Jedi
we have
Apprentice and
it.
Jedi Quest.
Yeah, so if we included those two, then this would probably fall under the same sort of reasoning.
Yeah.
Well, I think also it falls under the reasoning of, like, if we're following the story of the Skywalkers, well, They're kind of the main characters, the solos at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't read them. I'm not sure on the exact contents between Young and Junior Jedi Knights. I thought that at least one of the series would be in there. I do see the point in going, okay, if you manage to understand enough of how the kids are at the start of New Jedi Order, then that would work, but you don't probably get a lot of time from what I know with them before all of the Yuuzhan Vong stuff happens.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of
from what I recall, Young Jedi Knights is focused on Jason and Jaina, and Junior Jedi Knights is focused on Anakin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
then you would need both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still just comes down to you've seen the development of the characters, but again, I don't think there's any particular large historical things that happen only within these books that matter historically.
Yeah.
I guess depending on how
fair.
much is in some of Survivor's Quest and Hand of Thrawn as well, you get more detail on how the Jedi Academy is at the time before jumping into New Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Is that important?
I'd say the Jedi was being one of the major factions that you'd follow through the timeline. I would consider to be relatively important to follow along their growth and progression, especially one of the interesting parts of the Jedi that I find, I know you're not that interested, Cam, but I find is how the Jedi evolve from the prequel period, and then when Luke rebuilds them, and then as they face each of the challenges, and how the Jedi adopt different things and change.
It's just, well, it's a conversation that we've had the whole time through, and we'll still be having it when this is all over and done with. But it's how do we really define? How do we really define what is essential? Because again, I could mount the counter argument that you could read your whole way through the EU and never touch these books, and you would not be in the least bit confused.
Well, if you wanted to do that, you could read through Wikipedia.
Well, that's true. Now, see, then you would get confused because that is just such a.
There are details that are just weird.
Sketch.
Yes, as soon as you actually start reading the first-hand sources, you look at Wikipedia and go, "Hang on, this is not true."
Now let's move into the territory where Cam doesn't think anything's essential.
Oh, we're already well into that territory.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been doing that for 2 hours.
Let's head into the territory where Cam absolutely does not want to reread these novels ever.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
So
I hate that because it makes me sound like that they're all awful and bad and you should never read them, and that's not true. It's just like there's a few of them that are so egregiously bad that it ruins the whole series for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting reading through Insider, seeing like New Jedi Orders where Matthew Stover actually started writing Star Wars, and then and how they sort of intended it to be read the hard covers and those will be the main stories, and then the paperbacks are the spin-offs.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't work out that way.
So they were creating their own essential legends, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
that was kind of the idea.
It was a whole new era because they were going, oh look, we've done these random books or like one book in a different time period for a while, and so we're gonna approach it as if we're serializing it more.
Yeah.
So you have the ones that are a bit more important for the main events, and then you have spin-off ones. How I was reading Insider.
Okay, let's compare notes here. So my list for the New Jedi Order series and for the New Jedi Order era, which are one and the same in this context, because I'm ignoring the Dark Nest trilogy.
Okay, I'll ask about that later.
So is Vector Prime, Star by Star, Traitor, Destiny's Way, and the Unifying Force. Those are the ones that I have.
Yeah.
As long as you don't mention the Force Heretic trilogy, I will support whatever you guys pick.
So that is
I don't-
literally heresy.
Yes,
It lives up to
Yes.
the name.
I
Yeah,
hate that trilogy.
that's fair.
That's definitely fair.
So,
So
Cam, Jeff, what do you guys have?
So the problem for me is that without going
Nothing.
back and taking nothing at all. No, it's like I mean, I read these back to back at the time, and now trying to remember which particular events belong to which particular title isn't always the easiest thing. So I was like, oh god, I want to, like
Well,
I can't remember that either.
yeah. And so when
I'm
you
trying
got
to
things like-
remember what happens in Traitor, Destiny's Way, and the Unified. Well, Traitor and Destiny's Way. I'm trying to remember what happens in those. I know what happens in Vector Prime. We should all remember what happens
sure
there.
it's Traitor that the other main death occurs.
yeah.
Is it Traitor?
From
I thought it was Star by
remember
Star.
From reading things, it could. Oh, I think they're connected, aren't they? They're sort of the same storyline.
Well, the one leads right into the other, I believe.
Star by Star, that's the one where Lando plays an enormous part, really, isn't it? In the overall, because I think he brings those droids to the table, and then he's later on.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Sides, yeah. Which even though we're saying we want to look at Skywalkers and Solos, I'd probably definitely agree with Star by Star just for that alone.
That's fair.
And if you have one, you'd have the other because that story just flows on.
Yeah, I think that's why I included Traitor. That's why,
Mm-hmm.
because it builds right off of Star by Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then
because
that one Traitor establishes Vergere and Jason's relationship, I believe, at the beginning of it. I believe. Well, it establishes the beginning of that relationship. I believe. I might be wrong.
No. I'm pretty sure you are. As I said, I'm just trying to go through my head now because they do blur somewhat, and I guess it's just because you tend to just look at new.
Oh, that's what's happened to me throughout the whole year. I've gone, oh, this is just like the Clone Wars story, or this is the Rebellion story.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I believe Star by Star ends with Anakin's death, Jason's capture.
Mm.
I believe it ends with that.
Yeah, so
and the Traitor picks up
that.
So,
from
checking the titles, after Vector Prime, what you haven't included is Dark Tide duology.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, not overly impactful on the...
I don't remember what happens in that at all.
The titled Onslaught and Ruin. That just sounds in theme after Vector Prime. Sounds in theme.
I considered
Dark
Tide briefly. But I was like,
Yeah.
I felt it wasn't necessary.
Oh yeah, Agents of Chaos, Heroes Trial, and Jedi Eclipse. Yeah,
they felt very much side.
To
me.
I also don't remember what happens in those. Couldn't tell you.
Balance Point, and then also Edge of Victory duology, which is Conquest and Rebirth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say these novels are the same because they're not, because obviously, a lot of different things happen. But when the overall theme is that our heroes are getting kicked in the nads for 17 novels straight, well,
basically,
it gets kind of boring.
Yeah, well, it certainly doesn't help it not blur. Just us like I don't. Is this the book where the Yuuzhan Vong took out another planet and they had to get all the refugees to safety, or is this the one where they destroyed a planet and you got to get all the refugees to safety?
That's alright. It's called. There's a book literally titled Refugee. I think that's the one where they put the refugees to safety. That's Force Heretic number 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No wonder I hate that book.
That'll be the one. and that is I guess
Yeah.
largely the feels which I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure if I'll ever find the time to reread that again. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but when there's so many more enjoyable parts of the EU that I would revisit, maybe this list will actually be it for me. Whatever we come out of today, when we say New Jedi Order essential is this and this, maybe I'll just read those
Oh
ones.
yeah. I'll see when I
Was it-
read through it because that'll be interesting.
Well, yeah, because I mean, again, I've never read through any of these books and thinking, is this essential or not? Like, I just kind of read them. And
Yeah.
so now to go back in retrospect and be like, hey, this book that you last read 15 years ago, is it
Yeah.
essential? Like,
I
don't
don't-
know.
Or even if it's
Probably.
more recent, there's over 300 books.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And when it's still
going
really
back
hard
to
to nail down what essential means, again, like,
Mm.
because it still means different things to different people. I know we've decided it's what it follows the main course or the main thread throughout
Mm.
the entire history of the universe, but it's like, yeah, you could
Still,
have other
yeah, there's
definitions for
someone's
that.
like, here's all just extra information that you may not really need to understand what goes on, unless you're really digging in deep into it. Like,
Yeah.
so after Star by Star, there's Dark Journey and the Enemy Lines duology,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then there's Traitor.
I intentionally cut out the enemy lines. Here's the thing: I read those before I read anything else.
Oh.
Okay.
Of the that's what I had access to at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens.
I get it.
I didn't have. I didn't get. Like I come into this and I'm like, wait. Like this was my introduction to the Solo family. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had no idea who Jason was. I had no idea who Anakin was. And I was already sad that Chewbacca was dead.
Oh no.
That's fair, yeah.
And I had not read either of the books that established those things.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh my god. But after having read Vector Prime and Star by Star, I'm like, yeah, the enemy lines really not important.
Okay.
In fact, the storyline that they're going for in enemy lines gets dropped after Rebel Stand.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the time you get to Traitor, Jaina's whole arc of that story is over.
Yeah. And
They just
looking
drop
at
it.
the authors, it seems like because they did the whole thing where multiple authors were working on the same series, Aaron Alston would have picked it up if he wrote another book, but he didn't afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, out of that little collection that you just said, I mean, Dark Journey probably should still stay for, even if only just for the same reasons that we kept all the Jedi Apprentice books and the Junior Jedi Knights and stuff. Is that while it doesn't really lend an awful lot to the overall arc, it does lend a lot to Jaina as a character, like her growth.
That's fair.
Especially considering that she carries on into much later in the timeline as like the only surviving Solo kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so Star by Star, Dark Journey, Traitor.
Guys, we're forgetting a key book here.
Oh.
We're forgetting Boba Fett, A Practical Man.
Oh, better get onto it.
The short story which was published in the paperback of Legacy of the Force Sacrifice.
Yes, but it details the whole like reason why the Mandalorians like do their thing with the Vong, where they're like double agents and all that stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I can't believe I've just advocated for something from this to be essential.
That's why you're here.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not without reason, though. Like, obviously, the Mandalorians are incredibly important to galactic history again. So,
yeah,
and with that one addition, everything about what the Mandalorians are doing at this point in history is explained. So you don't really need anything else in regards to them. So
that's true. It does the whole thing, and we actually have a Boba Fett story that's important.
Yay!
Yeah.
Haven't had that since Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you understand enough of his story from that to go, yep, okay, Boba. I guess technically Dark Empire features him.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but
it
he's
does
not
a
like the
little bit.
main character.
It's not a Boba Fett centric story. Just he's a
Not a
character.
single one. This is the only Boba Fett centric story we're including here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Does it just kind of? I haven't read it, so like, where would that fit? Like in this
Timeline wise,
I have after the invasion, or after invasion number 6 to 11, which is subtitled Rescues, which is after Vector Prime, and then before Dark Tide 1 Onslaught.
according to Wikipedia, it's like right before Vector Prime and right after Young Jedi Knight's Crisis at Crystal Reef.
Okay,
but
well,
that's
when
also,
I read
that's also Wikipedia, though. So
that seems like an unusual thing to put it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll all agree to add that to our list of egregious pages. Good.
Yeah.
When I actually read it, and this is what I'm doing for everything that I haven't read, I'll just adjust my timeline if I need to. If I go, hey, hang on, that doesn't make sense.
Because I mean, the problem is it's another one of these ones that I think we had this problem with. Oh Lord, got a brain fart. But it's where when the novel does take, like, say, the opening chapter or two are previous to. So because while the story itself does take place back before Boop hit the fan, it is obviously largely dealing with the Yuuzhan Vong invasion and all the fallout from that. So even though you'd place it in the timeline before the invasion.
Yeah, if you're doing like a reading order, you would especially want to go, well, we want to understand the invasion first.
Well, also, what an introduction that would be. If you were to read it based on the fact that this story starts before the Yuuzhan Vong turn up, and you're reading a Boba Fett story and suddenly the whole galaxy is getting its bottom kicked in, like, what is happening here? Like, that is not exactly the introduction you want to the Yuuzhan Vong War.
No. Especially considering its release date was in Legacy of the Force.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be with the understanding of the Yuuzhan Vong War after the other books had released.
Yeah, so despite where the book might open, where the first chapters might take place, the bulk of it really needs to be read in the middle, if not at the end. Yeah, like
at the very least after Vector Prime.
Yeah,
that's fair. I'm just gonna put it before on my list because I don't like breaking up the series.
Alright, that's why I have it on there. It's an e-novella that's longer than a short story, but shorter than a full novel, technically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
you could put it at like the end.
You could.
As a way to like contextualize what the Mandalorians were up to, because you kind of know, but this is like the full explanation.
Well, there's no way you put it at the beginning. I mean, that's basically what the point is. There's no way you put it at the beginning.
No,
well, it'd be like
I'll leave it where it is after Vector Prime at the moment in our list here.
Well, it'd be the same as, say, Darth Plagueis. Like the opening, or if not the opening, certainly there are scenes that take place like 20, 30 years before the Phantom Menace. So you wouldn't put the novel there and say you need to read Darth Plagueis before the Phantom Menace, because you'd be confused. That's just not where you'd put it. You read this novel going, wait, what's happened? Who's what? Yeah, so it is designed to be read.
Yeah.
Basically,
and Darth Plagueis, you should be reading more stuff surrounding it and connecting to it so that you fully understand. Because I have seen people online go, I just got lost in all of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, which I can see why you would, because as I said, it's a work of art in terms of being a novel, but it just draws on so many other different facets of the galaxy that you probably should have read first to enjoy those connections and to see them.
A good chunk of the Darth Maul adjacent stuff in that novel makes more sense when you've read some of the Darth Maul stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm
and the comics alone make a difference. Oh, man. Not to mention the books.
I'll mention all the ones in between just so we actually consider them and talk about them properly. After Traitor, then we have Destiny's Way, and the aforementioned Force Heretic trilogy. And the final prophecy.
Yeah, we're definitely not
before the
doing that
Unifying
one.
Force.
Well, not as an essential, no.
Hmm.
No.
It's
No.
essential
And the
to
main-
who rereads it, yes.
I personally would not include the final prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was. I feel like everything between Destiny's Way and Unifying Force just kind of just builds, and then you get to the Unifying Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it's really doing. It's just adding more context, really, if anything else.
And you did include Destiny's Way, yep.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Now,
And of course, there are some comics littered in between here. So let's
Yeah.
they're not
nearer the
essential.
start with the Invasion comics. But then there's also one in Tales number 21 called Equals and Opposites, which
What was
I
that one?
think
Hang on.
that one was, if it doesn't have an Infinities label, it'll be canonical. But
Is that
if
the one
it has
with-
an Infinities label,
Is that the one with the Yuuzhan Vong Sith lady?
I think so.
Is
Yeah.
that the one you're talking about?
Okay.
I wouldn't.
I
don't
don't
even know
think
what you're
any of
talking about.
those really feel essential to me. When I read through the Invasion comics, they didn't seem that.
But yeah,
So
Or
I was
Invasion.
just looking at the novellas that were the Emissaries of the Void series, and noticed that I'd number 6 was titled as number 1, but it was still in the place at the end of the series. It was
Yeah.
Emissary of the Void 1, Emissary of the Void. So I'm imagining a lot of these e-novellas, apart from the Boba Fett a Practical Man, would not be considered as essential to the plot.
probably not. No. Because the thing is, I'm trying to think of, and like Practical Man does make sense. How many of these other ones again impact the overall galaxy? And the fact that I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's only a few things within this invasion that really make any impact, and obviously, it's got to be Chewie's death. It's going to be Anakin's death. It's going to be the consecutive loss of all the planets. That's obviously huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what
a Practical Man does have some. It does affect some things for Legacy of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's references to events in there.
Yeah.
In Legacy
he was
of
saying the
Force.
ones outside of that, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
The Emissary
wait,
of
I
the
thought we had
Void
established
series,
this.
yeah.
Now I'm like having to defend it again.
No,
Okay.
no, we're good on
Apologies.
the Practical Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
very-
please
very
don't backtrack
practical.
on it. Please don't backtrack on that one.
I was saying it's the other e-novellas connected to it that's not a Practical Man.
Honestly, I don't feel like they're really necessary.
No,
for the
because I
most
can't.
part.
Yeah.
I don't even remember
Like-
what they are. Like what
Like
happened in them.
like Recovery, Emissary of the Void, The Apprentice, Elysia. I don't feel like any of them are really important.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
They all kind of sit there. They're fun little short stories, you know, but that's
like a lot
about
of short
it.
stories. Yeah, that's where they kind of sit. Because because I was going to say, throughout this whole New Jedi Order, just looking at the main things that hit, that's why there's actually so little that we'd use. Because a lot of it is just our heroes getting whacked about from pillar to post. And
Right.
Chewbacca's death, Anakin's death, finding Zonabas Sekot, or however we all pronounce that today.
I'm not going to correct you.
No, that's fair. There's not a lot in it, which kind of sucks because we're talking about 17 novels and a whole bunch of novellas. But at the end of the day, in terms of major things that hit on points, like the invasion is the point.
So
is the main point.
We've gone down to 7 novels out of interest from the New Jedi Order trilogy.
And
Yeah.
it should have been a 7-novel series because 17 was way too long.
So I'm
So, I mean,
also
seven.
not thinking the Chewbacca comics would be essential because it's a retrospective on his life, but also
wait, are you including Boba Fett, a practical man, in there?
yes.
Or okay,
Yes,
because
that's
I'm
in the
like
list.
I only have the 6, so I'm confused. Okay, the era. Okay,
The era.
yeah.
So I was
The only other thing that happens in that time period that's important for the galaxy outside of the invasion is that the Empire and the New Republic, or whatever the heck, actually team up and they become allies.
Yeah. Which does start in the Hand of Thrawn, and it's kind of it's kind of a semi through line all the way into this.
so,
but like this is where they have fully established themselves as partners.
So which book's that one in? Just so people know and we don't miss that in the list.
So I still feel like that's gradual.
Don't know.
Like
they're pretty much that's pretty much throughout. Like
it's an ongoing thing that builds up, right?
Well, there's no
much
particular
from
chapter
Vector Prime. Vector Prime establishes that they're going to start working together, and it's kind of a through line throughout. Like, I don't think there's anything that really.
I didn't want to miss that one off of the list if we had forgotten it.
No, it's in there from the beginning.
Yeah,
that Jagged Fell is introduced in Vector Prime.
Oh, there we go, and that's important.
Yes, that's a very important thing.
So then, right at the end of the New Jedi Order trilogy, we have something that's not New Jedi Order tacked on in the timeline called the Darkness trilogy, but you mentioned that you wouldn't consider that.
I'm torn on it, honestly. Personally, I don't think it's important.
Yeah.
Because there's enough reference to it in the next 18 books that it's not really necessary. You kind of get the gist. And
it's also not a very good book.
They're not good. They're not. And they're really not. And there's just something about it that's just not worth it. You know? The only thing it really establishes is Alana's birth, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which
that's really
does play a large role later on.
Right, but again, this is stuff that's still talked about in the next 2 series.
And that's where I was like, well, the Black Fleet Crisis, I just realized I looked at my own list again, references the Crystal Star enough that you would understand the Crystal Star.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need to know.
But you don't need either of those.
And then it's just like, okay, we've completely skipped those.
Well, I mean, the Darkness trilogy, I mean, fighting aside, suffers from the same issue I think we had before with the Black Fleet Crisis, is that it's like, it's very insular. That the whole story is just like, this is what we're dealing with now, and we've dealt with it at the end. It doesn't really lead through on either side of its own story. It's probably the first time we really get to see the galaxy healing from the Yuuzhan Vong invasion, so that's semi-important, but you'd probably see that no matter where you've read. Even if you just jump straight to the Legacy comics from here, you still see the dregs of the Yuuzhan Vong and what they've done through the galaxy. So, while that's important,
you get some of it in Legacy of the Force. You get some of it.
Yeah, I think I remember from Legacy of the Force that Jason was talking to the Hive Mind on Coruscant, something like that.
I
don't know. You get little bits and pieces.
Don't recall that.
It's
it
one of those
could be a false memory. I last read them in like 2012, 2013.
I mean, I haven't finished yet, but I don't recall that.
But yeah, it still ends up being one of those things where if you had read through the entire lot and you omitted these 3 books, you're not going to turn and go, wait, where's the thing with the Killix? When did that happen? It's like it's not at all
I've
necessary in
loved
that
the
regard.
idea of the Killix, but
No.
I was actually introduced to them when I played SWOTOR, so
Honestly, they don't do much as far like they're only like they're referenced in Legacy of the Force, and they appear towards the end of Fate of the Jedi. That's really it, and they don't really have a lot of purpose, if I'm going to be honest. And
Yeah.
as far as story goes, they don't
Yeah.
have much purpose.
yeah.
And like they don't really add much to the story, and the Dark Nest in particular doesn't, like, again, all the important stuff is referenced, and you can kind of get the idea of it without actually having read it.
So we'll leave that off then, I think, from the sound of it.
Sadly,
Okay.
yeah.
So for Legacy, I guess we're gonna move on to that. It's pretty much just Legacy of the Force. This is what I've got. Fate of the Jedi, Crucible, and then the Legacy comics, and not the Legacy 2 comics.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I agree, unfortunately.
I should amend an earlier statement. I think I read Scourge.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, you definitely don't need that book.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
good, but you don't need it.
No, I don't remember much important happening there, other than giving an insight into some different Jedi. I agree. I have Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, and Crucible, and I put both volumes of Legacy, but that's just because I love it.
I mean,
Legacy 2, well, I guess we'll get to Legacy 2, but I think Legacy 2 is important, but we'll get there. Well, we've got
that's fair.
a few different works in between.
Yeah.
I only have Crucible at this point. I don't think anything else is needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's absolutely fair.
So it would be interesting to read it in your style, Cam, where you just jump to Crucible.
That would
Crucible's
be
great.
Just jumping straight from Junior Jedi Knights to Crucible. That's got to be interesting.
No, he's jumping from Return of the Jedi to Crucible.
No. He had a couple of things in the New Republic. He had a few things.
You gotta read. I like the New Republic.
I think it's Survivor's Quest straight to. Was it Union or Survivor's Quest that you ended on?
I ended on Union, but I didn't think about Survivor's Quest, and I agree with Survivor's Quest. So
okay, so it's Survivor's Quest and then Crucible. There's so much missing.
It's actually funny.
Yara's just dead and nobody knows why.
But they reference it. It's fine.
The thing is, though, that's not even the first time I've heard someone say that. Like, there's definitely been a few people that tend to finish their own headcanon, as I call it, around the same kind of place that you do, and then don't touch it again into a Crucible. Yeah, I've definitely seen people do that before. Like, they just kind of say, you know what, ignore the rest of it. I don't even really care about
I feel like there's a lot of context missing for Crucible without Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi, though.
Well, particularly New Jedi Order, though. I think New Jedi Order is just so overall destructive to the galaxy and to the status quo and the characters that any fan that wants to cut that out then would probably just proceed to keep cutting until you get to Crucible, because you need to end it somewhere. So you go, Crucible then. Crucible's pretty good. We'll go there.
Yeah.
So I can see why.
Yeah. Well, and you would be lost with the Legacy comics if you don't know the context of the Yuzon Vong at all. So,
like, what EU fan doesn't know the context of the Vong? Everybody's heard of the Vong.
And it's also this other thing that we keep coming back to.
That new EU fan that decided to follow our podcast and only knows the movies.
Right.
But there's also
I would suggest you just read a Wikipedia article about the Yuzan Vong War and don't read the Yuzan Vong War books. That would be my suggestion.
But it would still come down
I do agree
to
with that.
As long as it's not too egregious.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But I'd still come down to the fact that if a particular work is written correctly, which the Legacy comics were, and I've never read the Legacy comics with this particular frame of mind. I've never read them and thought, "What if this is my first book?" But I feel like Legacy 1 would be written in such a way that you're aware that the galaxy was kind of turned on its head a little while ago, and by a little while we mean about 60 years at that point, that there was an
It
invasion,
is.
that there's relics of the invasion left behind. Like you'd
Yeah.
probably get enough context just from that comic without having to even touch Wikipedia. I would have thought. Again, I'd have to go back and reread it. With
I
that
read
frame of
Legacy
mind.
Volume 2 first, and that was quite interesting because I'd read it before
Oh, yeah.
Legacy.
Well, that'd be
would
particularly
confusing.
interesting
Yeah,
because when you get to the
that's got to be interesting.
well, particularly when you get to the end of Volume 2, and then like Cade and everyone come around the corner, and you're like, "Who are these guys?" And then the comic just ends. And you're like,
Yeah.
"What was that?
Right, right,
Who are they?"
right.
No,
Yeah,
I can
that's
definitely see
interesting.
that. Hmm.
But it was
Well, we can definitely.
I think in my brain I kind of chalked it up to one of the end of release date things where it's like, oh, these characters would have been introduced if they released more of the issues.
Which is true in some respect.
That's true. There's a lot of stuff that would be better developed if they just released more. Okay, so let's discuss the Legacy era stuff here.
Yeah. Legacy
So,
of the
Legacy
Force
of the
is where
Force.
I believe we're generally starting at here.
Yeah, that's where it officially begins, despite my opinions.
You try and keep it official, even though I shifted some things. I really just split the Rise of the Empire in my own timeline because there's so much stuff.
You kind of have to a little bit. Well,
Anyway,
so
okay.
Legacy of the Force it establishes Ben as a real character, because in New Jedi Order he's conceived and born. That's really about it. He's conceived and he's like what, a year old at the end, 2? I forget.
Something like that.
Like he's pretty young. In Legacy of the Force, it establishes Ben and as a character. It establishes Jedi training at this point a little bit. And Ben's has kind of an unusual training system because he's unofficially apprenticed to Jason, which is really funky. At the beginning, it seems, oh, he's Jason's apprentice, but like 2 books in, they're kind of implying that he's not officially apprenticed to Jason. It's very weird. And at the end, he's Luke's apprentice, which I think is a bit of a mistake there, because
A bit of a conflict of interest.
Right, this is your own son, dude.
How can you be impartial and teach them properly? Yeah.
But he was the master to his own nephews as well, so
True, he means used to it, I guess.
Though in some ways, Anakin was kind of split between Luke and Mara, I must say. But he was more Luke's apprentice than Mara's. It establishes that Lumaya is not gone. It establishes...
then you can start looking at the old Marvel comics.
No.
Right.
Oh, come on now.
But,
The only one of those that's essential
necessarily...
is Darth Vader wanting to destroy the Rebels credit score.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that one.
In which he had a minion that was a mutant that was not called Force sensitive, but it theoretically in the whole context was.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway.
Good comics, good times they were.
Give him a read
and
yourself,
then, of course,
it'll be good times.
Then there's Mara's death.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that has to be in there.
Which was a mistake and shouldn't have happened.
Oh, well,
Yeah. And it's so much of that
seriously.
so important to the Skywalker family, what's going on
Yep.
in the
Yeah.
universe.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
the same would be sort of
It really
Fate of the Jedi is probably, from what I know of it, very much a thing of, okay, that's so important to the
it Fate of the Jedi really brings Ben into his own.
Mm.
It's very much it's like the most Ben's focused story that we've had.
Mm.
And it gives him a romantic interest. It establishes it establishes him as a real character. He's not just there like he was for Legacy. Like Legacy of the Force, like, yeah, he's coming up and he's learning, but he's kind of just there. He's kind of just part of the story.
Yeah.
Whereas Fate of the Jedi, he's a driving force in the story.
Which again we
And
need because
right. And he's the next Skywalker. So you really get that established there.
Yeah.
And then Jaina and Jag's wedding.
Yeah, you get so much there. You
Well,
get
Jen
the
and-
whole what's going on with the Sith and Darth Krayt rocking up.
And the reason that the Jedi are separate from the Galactic Alliance that is established in that series as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, so those are some incredible points. Because, like we were saying before, with following, say, the Solo and the Skywalker line through, that just sets up both the next generations. Like I just said, with Ben coming into his own, but also the very, very beginnings of the Fell Empire, which we'll see later on. Like there is two enormous things there that's just kicking in. So,
yeah. Well,
as much as we wanted to jump straight to Crucible, we can't.
Well, then there's also Alana. There's also Alana Solo.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Part of me, I don't know with her. I'm torn with her. Because she's important, but she's also like, what, 7 or 8 at the end of the story? Or is she 9? I forget.
Quite young anyway. Like, I remember she was still quite young in Legacy of the Force, and that's probably where Ben could come into his own a lot more in Fate of the Jedi, because he was that bit older.
Right. And, like, Alana's just being established more and more as a character, she's being more established as a character as opposed to, but she does have significant roles. Like, she does have significant moments.
Which again, had things been able to continue normally, she obviously would have, and it paves the way for Anya Solo later. So at least that's the assumption. That is actually a confusing part, to be honest.
Well, I can't imagine Anya being anyone else's descendant. She can't be Jaina's.
No.
The Fells are her descendants.
Or the twist, she isn't anyone's descendant that we know.
She's just another Solo, just randomly.
Just took on the name.
They establish at the very beginning she's one of those Solos.
Maybe she's like a Sal Solo.
Yeah, she's come down through Thraken.
That is possible. That is possible. And they
it
dropped the
continued, we might
Sal
have even found out.
to not be connected.
Yeah, I mean, I would drop the Sal too if I was her.
I'm descended from Han Solo. I'm actually descended from his horrible, horrible, horrible cousin.
So in between Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi, there's Cross Current, Riptide, and Millennium Falcon. I didn't think, from what I know, any of those I would consider essential.
No.
They're
good stories.
Yeah.
They're good stories, especially Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
That's
the one I jumped straight to.
They're not necessary.
Yeah.
They're kind of just part of the story.
Yeah.
And at this point, we know the Falcon's pretty exceptional, so we're fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if she's a bit of a fixer-upper.
A little bit, but you know.
And I didn't... After Fate of the Jedi, I didn't think Mercy Kill sounded like one that was essential. It was X-Wing number 10, which is somehow all the way near the end of the timeline.
Honestly, I felt that there was no need for it.
It's got some strong moments, including, I guess, the scene that the novel gets its name from, that derives its name from, is but yeah, that's not part of the overall arc. It's I mean, if anything, it kind of bookends the X-Wing series, which didn't really need bookending either, but that's obviously what it serves as.
But I mean, we also skipped over Izard's Revenge,
and a lot of those
X-Wing
ones.
What I was about to say is that it's probably one of the rudest things I could say about the book. But not only is Mercy Kill not an essential EU novel, it's not even an essential X-Wing novel. So which is an incredibly rude.
Right.
Yeah, it's an incredibly rude thing to say, and that's not to say it's not worth reading. But yeah, it's not even essential in its own series, let alone overall.
Right.
I do feel like reading Starfighters with Adam, especially that one, you could even say that because it's just like, okay, we put this story in here and it didn't really need to happen. The X-Wing series was good as it was. Even though it's still a great read in amongst everything, I'm like, okay, well, that's just sort of dotted in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 No arguments.
So then that just leaves us with the legacy comic stuff.
Yeah, well, Crucible, clearly.
Oh yeah, Crucible.
No, we're skipping over Crucible. No one here wanted Crucible.
No, especially Cam. He didn't want Crucible.
Skipping that one.
That's the only thing he did want.
Yeah.
No one here wants to talk about it. Moving on. Yep.
Yeah. So Crucible's essential because it sets up like we are passing the torch to the next generation. It brings into focus like Leia's like prowess as a Jedi, and Han Solo having potentially some sort of force sensitivity of a sort. It ties tons of different plot threads together from things that we really don't need tied together, but it does it anyway, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we've got like the Mortis arc from like Clone Wars. We've got like
it's like the only good thing that the Clone Wars gave us. Let's be honest.
I would argue there's a couple others, but it's the only like force related good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's a discussion for a separate time.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have an entire episode dedicated to the ones.
We'll have an entire like 10-part series at least for TCW.
It even like ties into something that I didn't realize it tied into until I played it. There is a RPG adventure thing. I think Cal, me and you may have done this. It's a Han Solo centric one. It's like a
I think it was one of the solitaire adventures for West End Games.
But we played it as if like it wasn't a solitaire adventure.
Because I was GMing it and then you were playing it type thing.
Yeah, and it ties in like characters from that into Crucible, and I'm like, what? And I didn't even know that until we played that, years after I read Crucible, and I was like, oh wow, that's a hell of a deep cut.
Yeah.
And also, this is the only Star Wars book that Troy Denning wrote that's good.
Oh boy.
Man, make sure that one gets out there.
People will love Cam's opinions.
Oh man,
I have very, very loud opinions. Whether people like them or not is.
And then I thought I was being rude about
For
Mercy
reference,
Kill,
I
but
believe
I
that
feel
one
fine
was
now.
Scoundrel's Luck.
Yes, it was. I don't know, and it's such a good story too, and like it kind of delves into like the mysteries of the Force, and I don't know, it's got all those little elements that are really cool, and it's this nice send off to go into the next generation. But then
do you
we
know
never
why
got
it connects together? Scoundrel's Luck was written by Troy Denning.
Yes.
There you go.
Mhm.
There you go.
All the way back
See,
in
but that's not a novel.
1990.
Exactly. He only wrote one good novel.
Right.
You should have stuck to making West End Games RPGs, and also following along with whoever made them after Fantasy Flight. And...
All right. So before we have to close in like 15 minutes, we should probably discuss the Legacy comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
We should actually finish the era we're on so we can finish the
Yes.
topic and then go on to side tangents.
All right. So, Legacy Comics. We established the character of Cade Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then we repeat the whole Order 66 thing again.
Yes, but with more Sith.
Yeah.
Now with 10% more Sith.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Legacy of the Force thing, but whenever I saw that was the plot line they were going for, I was like, oh, really? Again?
Yeah. We're going through a third Jedi purge.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just quit being Jedi at this point. Like, just stop.
I mean, just change the name at this point. Just change the name.
Yeah. And yeah, that establishes the state of the galaxy at that time really well as well.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's a good blend.
130 ABY.
Yeah. And it is a good blend. Like I said, you can still see the impact that the Yuuzhan Vong War had on everything. You can still see the impact that the Rise of the Empire has had on everything. You can see the impact that the Rise of the Fel Empire has had on everything. You can see where this has led for the Sith. Like every tangent, every side point, every storyline and faction ends up here in the Legacy comics. Like, so it is good in that
makes
way.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like, they did a good job with it.
Yeah, for sure.
It does. It's very much like you don't have to know much about what's going on.
Almost like
beforehand.
A lot of these things aren't essential.
Not for Legacy. They're not essential for Legacy.
So,
like, you could skip straight from the movies to Legacy, and for the most part, you're not lost.
I think you would have to read the Thrawn trilogy to understand the importance of Mara Jade, at least.
You would.
No, there's just this random redhead that appears to him.
that used to be Luke's wife. I mean, that's all we know. That's all we know about her. That's all we're told. But honestly, I think it's well crafted as far as the story goes.
It'd be very difficult to extract any of it because it is an ongoing rolling story. So obviously
you can't cut any of it out.
No, some of the arcs are more pertinent to the overall history than other arcs, but they're all connected within themselves.
Also, I think by now, if people are looking at even buying the reprints of the comics, all of it's bundled together anyway, so you can read through it.
It is. And it's honestly, it's a really good story overall. I have the Essential Legends, the Marvel Epic Collection set. I have that one, those three massive volumes.
It would be big if it was only three.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting all of the hardcover Omnibuy. From
no, I got the soft. I got the soft cover. I don't care enough to spend that much money.
It adds
Meanwhile,
up though. Those soft covers are like expensive.
I'm just sitting here with
They're
all
not
my
cheap.
no, none of this is cheap. That's why I'm glad I'm sitting here on all my original single issues and stuff because at least they might
honestly
be
can't
sitting in
blame you.
comic boxes. Yeah, but at least they were cheap at the time. I'm just going to sit on them.
I managed
Yeah,
to get a set of the Dark Horse trade paperbacks, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Hey, nice.
Yeah,
and also
I've got that for the Republic Clone Wars comics.
I would say all of Legacy Volume 1. We're going to treat Volume 2 as a separate entity, but certainly Volume 1 all the way through is quite important.
Yeah,
In many,
I think
many
you
ways.
should read both, but
Yeah.
but you don't need Legacy 2.
No.
Yeah, I think
mean,
the events that happen in
the
Legacy
only
2
thing
don't end up.
that I can think of for Legacy 2 is that it establishes Marasiah as Empress, and I feel like that's the only thing.
Yeah, and like shows the united front of the Jedi Order, the Galactic Alliance, and the Fel Empire all as
and
one
if we're following
mega
along with the train of thought of like Junior Young Jedi, Nice Jedi Apprentice, and that, it does show the descendant of Ania Solo to have that through line of not just the Skywalker lineage, but also the Solo lineage.
Right.
To be confirmed if anything ever gets confirmed.
Right.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's
right.
No,
just like how the Clone Wars era is going to get fixed.
Yeah,
that.
Just like that.
Yeah, that. The only interesting thing, though, that I've always wondered about the end of Volume 2 is obviously that the Sith are well and truly apparently gone. Is it the way that was dealt with that, like, Red gets all the Sith together, one last big huzzah, and of course, spoiler alert, it doesn't go very well.
Right.
I've always wondered if that would still necessarily be the end, because for one, I can't imagine Darth Talon falling with something that ridiculous. But more
I don't
importantly,
think it would have ended that way.
No,
but even if she did fall for it, for her to not be noticed as being there, so I was like, I feel like while that is shown off as being the big be all end all, I still don't see that being the be all end all. If that makes any sense at all. Like,
it's probably a product of it having to be cut short.
Very short, yeah. Very short.
Because definitely, even if they all died there, you've got examples back in Tales of the Jedi where the Sith spirit will just tempt someone else to the dark side and the Sith will restart.
Yeah. Well, it's like Knights of the Old Republic War. It like a lot of it got cut short.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too: you can't eliminate the Sith as long as there are Jedi and people with Force powers. Sith will continue coming back because people are going to fall to the dark side. They're going to look into these old dark side teachings. They're going to become Sith. They're going to start a new Sith Empire or a new Sith Order, whatever. And and that's so really the Star Wars galaxy would be great if we could just get rid of all Force users.
Yeah, because like that last thing you said there, probably the most important is like it'll be a new Sith Order. Like even if they don't call themselves Sith, even if they never actually come across it, there will still be Darksiders and Lightsiders in some respect.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: even if you go like, even after like you go back to the Rise of the Empire, there were other Sith at like besides Bane. There were plenty of Sith magicians, and I mean the prophets of the dark side established themselves a couple of generations after Bane.
Or you've got like the Sorcerers of Rand or the Sorcerers of Tund.
Yeah,
exactly.
You've got
these
the
guys lasted for a long time. They don't just go away.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Luke says something to that effect as well in one of the books where he says as long as there's the power around, there'll be people to abuse it. And so the Jedi actually intended to... They need to stay around to be able to keep that in check.
Right. I mean, the Lost Tribe...
why the power's still around.
Well... That's the whole thing with while some of the students return to the dark side, if they learn enough about the dark side, they just take over the galaxy again if no one's around that's trained enough to stop them.
Right.
Or
I mean, Dark Jedi
just-
weren't gone.
Mm.
Like even during the Bay Knight Sith, there were plenty of Dark Jedi,
Yeah.
but none of them ever reached Sith potential or Sith
No.
Yeah.
level.
Maybe we
They
should just
usually
do
were dealt
really,
with quickly.
really good Order 66, and there's no more Force users.
Except for Order 66 was created by the Sith.
Well, I'm saying a
Right.
good one.
Yeah.
We get rid of all of them.
Mm.
Don't matter their
Like you
allegiance.
just wipe the entire slate clean.
Yes.
So it's funny you're so against it because that's clearly what the Vong were trying to do. They were
Yeah.
trying to just
That's
wipe that
true.
slate entirely clean.
Mm.
Yeah, but they also wanted to make the galaxy like sucky and weird and all planty.
Mm.
They're a bunch of like
They're a bunch of space hippies.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but like they're a warrior race, so they're not. But like
yeah.
they're a bunch
Spiky.
of tree
You'll
huggers,
learn
but they're
their
not
ways
fast-
of peace by force.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I
they're
think that was
peacemakers.
kind of the idea.
hmm
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas.
All right, so I think that finally encapsulates our list.
Ooh.
I think so.
Ooh.
To run through it very quickly, once again from the start, and raise points if you think that anything should be challenged.
Oh
We
dear.
have the Dawn of the Jedi comics, the Tales of the Jedi comics, the Knights of the Old Republic comic run, Knights of the Old Republic video game. You got the Darth Bane trilogy. We have the Republic comic run in Rise of the Empire, Darth Plagueis, the Jedi Apprentice series, Darth Maul Shadow Hunter, Cloak of Deception, the Phantom Menace novel, Jedi Quest series, Outbound Flight, Attack of the Clones novel, Star Wars Jedi one-shots, Clone Wars micro series, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign, the Republic Commando series, Shatterpoint, the Medstar duology, Jedi Trial, Labyrinth of Evil, the Revenge of the Sith novel, Dark Lord, the Rise of Darth Vader, Mist Encounter, short story, Purge comic run, the Dark Times comic run, the Coruscant Knights trilogy plus the 2013 The Last Jedi novel, Han Solo trilogy, that will be the AC Crispin one, Rebellion comic run, the Force Unleashed novel, Dark Forces Soldier for the Empire novella, the Death Star novel, the A New Hope radio drama, and we also included the original theatrical cut of the movie. Rebellion comic run turns into the Empire comic run. The Star Wars holiday special.
Yep.
The Hand of Judgment duology. The Splinter of the Mind's Eye comic. The Empire Strikes Back movie. We didn't include the radio drama for that. The Shadows of the Empire novel. Return of the Jedi radio drama we included, as well as the movie. The Truce of Bakura. New Republic era, we have Dark Forces Rebel Agent and the Jedi Knight novellas. We have the first 4 books in the X-Wing series. Courtship of Princess Leia, the Thrawn trilogy, the Dark Empire comic runs, which is Dark Empire 2, Empire's End, the Jedi Academy trilogy, Dark Saber specifically, out of the Calista trilogy, the Corellian trilogy, the Hand of Thrawn duology, the Union comic run, Survivor's Quest, Young Jedi Knights series, Junior Jedi Knights series, Vector Prime, Boba Fett a Practical Man, Star by Star, Dark Journey, Traitor, Star by Star, Destiny's Way, The Unifying Force, and then, as we most recently discussed, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi.
Hold up. You listed Star by Star twice.
Yeah.
I
And
did.
the second time was out of order.
That's alright. I did list it twice. That's good. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. I was
Fate
like,
So important, you have to read it twice.
you have to read it twice. It's that essential.
Yeah.
It's that
yeah,
Fate of
just
the
torture
Jedi.
yourself with Anakin's death toys.
Fate of the Jedi, Crucible, and then Legacy comic run.
All right.
And that's what we have for
I like
after
it.
our discussions.
All right.
Before we get off here, I want to show you guys something. Hang on just a second, because
Yeah.
the holiday special triggered something in my brain. Because I went to a comic book store
Was
before.
it a nervous tick?
That's funny.
Yeah, that.
Out of all of the material, we have narrowed this down to 70 items, which includes the full comic runs.
It's a little
Nice.
Very
Like-
nice.
3D printed
nice.
movie poster of it. So
It's like the best part. It's like the best thing that ever came out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, out of over 300 novels, over 700 single issues of comics, probably more. However many countless short stories and whatever else, we've narrowed this down to 70 items for the Essential Expanded Universe collection.
Which is still
still
quite
a lot.
It is still
That
a
is a
lot.
good chunk. That is a
Like,
very good
that's-
chunk.
That's like more books than like the average American reads like
Mhm.
ever.
In a lifetime.
In their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey,
Wow.
if you're looking to read the expanded universe, these are the stories that you should be reading.
These are the
Books,
and then
stories to
comics.
gain an understanding of the main events of each era. And if
Mm.
you
And
if
have
you
a
want to-
particular interest in one, you can follow that era. There's no particular wrong starting place.
Yeah, you can
Mhm.
obviously expand or contract that as much as you want. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we said at the beginning, even if you just watch the movies and then did the Thrawn trilogy, you'd have a pretty good idea of what the EU was at least trying to achieve in terms of expansion. You can say, okay, I understand that from the movies they were trying to do this. So it wouldn't take much. But you can certainly expand a
No.
lot further from there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hence, expanding.
Ah,
Huge thanks for hanging out at the brightest center in the galaxy. If you want to hear more, make sure to follow on the platform of your preference. I'm your host Callum, and this has been the Callum's Cantina podcast. And remember, the films are just the beginning. The expanded universe is where the galaxy truly grows into its own. So see you next time when you visit the Cantina.